as God. I don't never change, He's God. Always will be God. God in the middle of the ocean, God in the middle of the sea. Father,
all right, so today we've got the ZMF Homage. And before we get any further, I do just want to go check this out. I know there's multiple pronunciations, just like with BOKEH or BOKEH, our other product that's coming out soon. Let's see what Google says on how to say this word.
Homage. Homage.
So, you know, that's what Google says, but the French pronunciation, I do believe, is homage. Just so you know, I'm not saying this is the right way to say things, but I will be saying homage and I will be saying BOKEH because it's what we said in film school, and I'm never going to be able to get that out of my mind from the film school I went to. I don't know. Maybe everybody's wrong. Maybe everyone else is a bunch of idiots that taught me this. Maybe now I'm destined to never pronounce anything right. But on to the amplifier. Here's the cool box it comes in. Joe Warden designed this, and I think it's very beautiful. It's got some very nice text, info on each side, and it has some custom foam in it. One very cool thing about the amp is that it is universal with the power supply to any country you live in. So this amp, regardless of where you move to, you just use the IEC for the country that you live in, and it'll work great. Anything you need, plug it into there. You can travel with the amp wherever you go, which I think is a cool feature. I mean, certainly for headphone shows with us has come in handy. By the way, this is not the foam. There's custom foam that will come in it. So this is all. These panels are custom machined in our machine shop. We designed every facet of the amp. This took about 3 years to come up with and get to the release date, and I just am really happy with how it looks. It kind of is designed to look like old airplane consoles, so to speak. Me and Joe kind of found some of these old pictures of airplane consoles that had this kind of semi-oval and flat shape to it, and I just think that it has a really nice kind of feel to it, and it's still kind of flat on the top, so you can put a headphone amp or stack something on the top, which is really nice. And then for the panels, for the stock versions at least, we're going with this rich light. I know some of you probably know that Martin Guitars uses this stuff. It's gonna sit very nicely on your desk. There's two aesthetic options for this bad boy. This is we're gonna call Pioneer, which is kind of a maple colored rich light. And then the other color choice we're calling Heritage. It's kind of a medium brown. And then there's two colors, volume knobs and everything as such. We're not gonna have any custom versions quite yet, but we will experiment with different options later on. There will be a stabilized and resin version at some point to match up with other ZMF stuff for the front and back panel. And we might experiment with other anodized aluminum colors for the chassis. The aesthetic does not change the performance of the amplifier.
Way out at sea, here by the help of the great creator, it truly was a God told me.
So JDS Labs, we worked with John SEABER, who is a good friend, and if you might not know this, our machine shop is actually down at JDS Labs. And so half of that shop is the ZMF machine shop and the JDS machine shop, and the other half is where they assemble the amplifiers. You can see I have the ASR page up here. JDS has always been known for really well measuring amplifiers. And so that's kind of what I was asking of John is, hey, let's get that really nice measuring amplifier, but for me, and personally, I've always found some of the better measuring amplifiers a little dry sounding, maybe a little zingy. And so my ask was to make that really boutique version of the really nice measuring amplifier with a little bit more of that ethereal musical nature to it, of what some of the high-end solid state amps can have. My favorite amps like the ECP Ravenswood, the Hollow Bliss, the Ferrum Ore, some of that really great solid state sound, a little bit of that magic in there that makes them sound really special and musical when you put them on. And that was the goal. Go check out the website and the stuff they make. This for the price, this is the stuff to get. I mean, it does sound great. If you go to product info, it's right at the top there above the Deckware OTL amp under Homage amp, and you can see here is the full info on this amplifier and kind of everything you need to know here in a general sense. And at the bottom we have our little FAQ. And so I do urge you to go check this out, as it's going to give you all the info you need to know on the amp. John, I am coming for you. I'm going to do an interview with you because you're much more knowledgeable about amp and DAC circuitry than I am. And I think it's important to bring that knowledge to the people. So we'll get you an interview with John all about the Homage coming up, so you don't just have to listen to me talk about it. Back to the page here. 1, is it balanced? And balance is always better, right? And so this is kind of a thing where with tube amps, I've always, had to talk to people about, balanced doesn't always mean that it's a better, because there's a lot of great tube amp designs, right? Single-ended triode tube amps, or OTL amps that are output transformerless that are single-ended. And so that's kind of important to note that this is a true balanced input amp, but it is single-ended out. And that's a key part of the design and how the amp works. And I do, think that the best sound from this amp will come if you're utilizing these balanced inputs here. So just something to note, that you'll probably get the best sound out of there. I think it obviously sounds great with the RCA in as well, but it's really designed as a true balanced circuit going in there. And then either output, we have the XLR and the 4.4 jack on the front there. I do recommend that you go give one of these a quick read if you're unfamiliar with amplifier impedance. The NWA Guy explanation is a good one and a pretty quick read. And then the Solder Dude one is much longer and more complex. As far as for me, this amplifier has the 2 impedance outs on the switch right here. Down is 0.7 and up is the 47. And so I kind of just flip it up and down to taste. I don't make a rule that, with a high impedance headphone, I have to use it. It's whatever sounds best to you at the end of the day. And that's what it's all about. So yeah, let's shoot it over to the shop. I'm going to check out the Homage in use case scenarios with a bunch of different headphones, IEMs, hard to drive and easy to drive. And then definitely go and check out the HeadPhi unofficial amp forum over there. That's a great place on HeadPhi, which I'll link below in the description section, where you can talk with any ZMF owner about what amps work well with our headphones. And there's a ton of really good ones. And I'm sure we'll be talking about the Homage in there. So let's shoot it over to the shop and we'll check out the use of the Homage amp. All right, Zach here in ZMF's shop. We are checking out the ZMF Homage. I think we got at least 20 or 30 of them made, and we're making more as we speak. Right now, I just want to go through some quick listening tests. So let's get this Rockna hooked up. I'm going to try and play it with this Cayin DAP here, one of my DAP to show you the function there. And then we're gonna run it through the ZMF Caldera, some IEMs, my ES80s from Westone, the new BOKEH, and I'm gonna grab my HE-6 from the wall, one of the famous hard to drive planers, and just show you how it can drive everything. All right, got my classic Ursine Audio modded HE-6 here. Thank you, Ursine. Yeah, so we're running the Rockna from the RCA right now, which I believe is 2.3 volts into this guy. I obviously have it on high gain for the HE-6. So you can see on the Homage amp here, if you look, the VU meter is pretty low actually. And so the VU meter is useful on the Homage in that if it goes up to 0, or that red area you can see there, that is when it will start to distort, or that's the max voltage you can go in. So at 2.3 volts in, we've still got quite a bit more voltage we can go in, and it is driving this HE-6 quite well. This is 2 watts per channel, class AB output. If you're just concerned about can this drive HE-6 and the like, you know, you can stop watching this video now. But let's put it with everything else. This HE-6, and thank you again, Ursine, sounds awesome. Let's go ahead and plug in these ES80s here. Actually, admittedly, have not used IEMs yet on this guy. Extra special kind of abalone-like faceplate, silver casing there on the inside, and of course that awesome soft custom tip that just kind of melts in your ear to a perfect form. It's a thing of beauty. I love ES80s. The custom one sounds even better than the universal one if you haven't heard them. So, alrighty, so got my Evil Empire playing here, Rage Against the Machine. Fun fact, just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and true to form, they didn't show up except for Tom Morello, who showed up and said some very kind words, even called us fans the 5th member of the band. So anyways, got the BOKEH plugged in, still got my IEMs from Westone plugged in. It will play them both at the same time. I did just kind of pop it out to make sure, you know, I wasn't blowing the IEMs just because the BOKEH is a tiny bit harder to drive. My favorite solid state amps have that kind of dimensional sound, you know, like the ECP Ravenswood or the Hollow Audio Bliss or the Ferrum Ore Stack. You know, it's that kind of, hey, it's solid state, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have a little bit of that magic spaciousness and liquidity to it. And, you know, that's kind of where I think this amp really stands out, is that it does that and will drive just about any headphone. Was listening to People of the Sun, and that, you know, intro riff with the drums when they come in, you can just really feel the depth on both the IEMs and the BOKEH. Yeah, let me move on and get this hooked up. I want to try it with the balanced out of this DAP and kind of see, you know, what I can get from it if it still drives the HE-6. Alrighty, we got some one-click headshot playing by Feed Me, something I discovered. Thank you, Peter Bradstock, for sending me some music, and with Feed Me being on there, I don't know why I hadn't heard it before, but being someone who went to film school, I don't even know if that's what it's about. One-click headshot is just hilarious and awesome bass test song. And to my surprise, so with the DAP actually, and maybe it's just the Cayin N8 too is so good, but you can see here on the VU meter, turn the volume down for a second so we can focus. So you can see the VU meter is kind of jumping right there. You can actually go in on the DAP here, and you know, as I'm playing the song, I can adjust, you know, the output. I'm kind of adjusting it up and down here, and so you'll see when I start to go over that line there, see when it goes over the red, I can hear it modulating a little bit. So I just go right to where, you know, I can see it's not jumping over that 0 line. And so I'm probably getting, you know, on this balanced out from this guy more than those 2 volts out. And I mean, immediately noticing that I'm actually getting more headroom than the Rockna with this DAP on an RCA just because it's giving more voltage. So I only have to go up to like, I don't know, noon or 3 o'clock or something, noon to 3 in that area to get plenty of volume out of the HE-6. You know, it's the same coffee gold that matches the grill of the Caldera there. So definitely got some matching going on. Anything coffee gold from us will match the amps really well. And then of course, when we start doing the stabilize, that'll be good. And then just quick note, I was just playing around with this, the impedance switch. This is 47 ohms up and 0.7 ohms down for the output. And actually, it, you know, for my taste, it works really well, both up and down on something like the Caldera. And of course, on our 300 ohm dynamic headphones, it works great because the 47 ohm, we kind of went up and down and with all the values to see what would work best with the dynamic headphones, and 47 just seemed to match really nicely. And then, you know, 0.7 really works with anything. And again, with like impedance, you don't have to put it on either. It's kind of tuned to taste, all that stuff. So yeah, a little close up of the silver palladium cable, some of Bevan's finest work, braiding here, hand braiding. So yeah, anyways, any questions, leave them in the comments below, and we'll have that product page up too, so you can check out all the info there. I'll check you later and see you guys soon.
Always will be God.